massive month of live football across the network. So, who will get the keys to the kingdom at Tottenham Hotspur? Ryan Mason takes his troops into battle tonight, telling us all that he is ready to lead this club. Is he the heir to the throne, or is he the great pretender? Spurs versus Manchester United in the Premier League is live and exclusive here on TalkSport with the former Chelsea and West Ham defender Scott Minto and TalkSport Sam Matterface.
Thanks, Hugh. They say it's darkest just before dawn. Well, the Tottenham fans are asking just how much darker it can get. It was turgid and tense in the last few weeks of Antonio Conte, combative and crotchety, but under Christian Stellini, it got even worse. Drifting listlessly, limply, following the same patterns, but without the passion. Ryan Mason's job is to lift a group of players and a stadium of fans that have lost interest, but for Tottenham to reach the top four, they're going to have to go on a terrific run, and that doesn't look plausible. Manchester United are still on for a cup double, and victory tonight will take them to 62 points and on the verge of guaranteeing a return to the Champions League, and they are boosted by the fitness of Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford this evening. Tottenham revert to a formation their players are much more familiar with. Christian Stellini's ridiculous idea of playing four at the back with two fullbacks that are not suited to playing those roles, and a centre-back that loves to go on a wander was footballing suicide, really. So it's 3-4-3 again for Tottenham, with Forster in goal in place of Lloris. Romero, Dyer and Longley in the back three. Porro, Skip, Højbjerg and Perisic across the middle, with Richarlison coming in to supplement the attack of Kane and Son. For Manchester United, De Gea is the goalkeeper. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Shaw and Dalot, the same back four that kept out Brighton on Sunday at Wembley. Casemiro, Eriksen and Fernandes in midfield. They usually perform well with that trio at the heart of their midfield. Antony and Sancho on the flanks, with Rashford through the centre looking to add to his 28 goals. Anthony Taylor is our referee tonight. Our VAR is Simon Hooper. And up in the commentary box in this magnificent stadium, and it really is one of the best in the world, let alone Europe, is Scott Minto, the FA Cup winner from 1997, former Benfica, West Ham and Chelsea left fullback. What are you expecting? Is this one of those games where anything can happen? Yeah, absolutely. Just saying that to you earlier, Sam, that I've no idea, and that's because of Spurs. You know, the players have no excuses now. The Conte era has officially gone. And now Ryan Mason has come in, he's caretaker manager, he's Spurs through and through. He said that in his programme notes. OK, it's a 3-4-3, but that's what this squad is set up for. But I'll be very surprised if they don't go and try and do it in a very attacking way. Spurs have to win, United have to make sure they don't lose. On TalkSport we bring you the football that matters tonight. There are 3 live matches on the network. Download our app, you've got access to them all. But our focus is in North London, where Manchester United are playing their 8th of 9 games in April alone, but on paper it doesn't look too arduous. After all, as Fergie once said, lads, it's Tottenham. Manchester United shooting from left to right in red shirts, white shorts and black socks. Tottenham trying to ram those words down Manchester United's throats in white shirts, navy shorts and white socks, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. Richarlison picks it up in the centre circle, pokes it through towards Kane. Son protects the ball well, but Shaw comes across and dabs it out towards the left, and Jadon Sancho. Shaw stepping out from centre-back is fouled by Christian Romero over on the far side, and it goes out for a free kick to Manchester United, just a shade inside Tottenham territory, wide on the left, 0-0.
Do you know what, it's interesting you say that, because I think that's why Daniel Levy went down the route of Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho, because they didn't want to be that sort of Spursy, but it just hasn't worked. So Daniel Levy's trying lots of different types of managers. I think the next one is absolutely crucial. I don't think it will be Ryan Mason, but what he can do is give that feel-good factor back, which I think everyone here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is wanting, and wanting Ryan to do well as well.
OK, let's get to some commentary from TalkSport 2, because Mark Wilson has details of a goal at Goodison.
Cross goes past him, hits it, save, could be a tap-in, and is a tap-in, and Newcastle have scored, and it's Callum Wilson.
Well, Newcastle United exhilarating on Sunday, haven't taken too long to get on the score sheet away at Goodison Park. They lead Everton by a goal to 0 in a 7:45 kickoff, which is live over on TalkSport 2 with Mark Wilson and with Trevor Sinclair. Download our app or ask our smart speaker to play TalkSport 2. You'll get access to that game. Here it's 0-0 between Manchester United away from home and Tottenham Hotspur And the ball is with Victor Lindelof on the right side of the Manchester United defence, wearing a long-sleeve red shirt, into Wan-Bissaka, who looks to take on Perisic, who went in to try and challenge for the ball, but was a little bit clumsy in doing so, and was lucky not to give away a free kick. The ball goes out on this near side, and it's away for a throw-in. Me and you do the Game Day podcast on a Thursday morning, and often, because of Bernardo Silva and others who have played in the left full-back row, we make a joke saying it's a part-time job nowadays, but that just shows how hard is it for Perisic to become a left-back after, or a left wing-back after being a winger for so long.
Look, I think it's a very underrated position. Of course I would say that, but I think certainly from a defensive point of view, you know, you look at how Akanji came out to left-back, and last night it wasn't a question of Pep saying, do you know what, we haven't really got an out-and-out left-back, so let's just...
Offside flag is up against Rashford as the ball's bent round by Casemiro.
Yeah, so let's just leave that position, because someone like Saka would do really well. And if you're a winger, to actually think that you've got to be defensive minded first and foremost, and understand how to look along the line, when to play offside, when not to play offside, when to drop off, the communication with your centre half as well. There's little nuances with it that shows you up if you're not used to it. And yeah, it was a really poorly chosen back four last week at St James's Park by Spurs. And I just think, as I say, you look at here, the attitude hasn't been good enough. The system set up now is right. There's no excuse of the Antonio Conte era anymore. They have no excuses tonight.
Ball kicked long by Forster out towards the near side. Perisic takes it down and runs out towards the touchline near side, looks to face up Wan-Bissaka, goes back infield to Højbjerg, and then all the way to the centre circle. So let's go off to the New York Stadium in Rotherham. There's been a goal in the Championship for Alan Biggs.
Rotherham 0, Cardiff 1. Lively start here. Great cross from Perry. NG created the goal, and a smart header in at the far post by Kian Etete to make it Rotherham 0, Cardiff 1.
Heung-min Son just got in behind Diego Dalot over on the far side, and that caused Manchester United a problem. His final ball wasn't great, and Manchester United just about survived. But here's Anthony on the right side for United, into Fernandes, back wide towards Wan-Bissaka. Anthony again, and then Casemiro to his left-hand side. It's a poor ball infield, and Manchester United look a little bit tepid in the opening exchanges. Harry Kane's just run into a blind alley, and the ball's broke loose on this near side.
If Spurs get this right, then Manchester United are there for the taking. I don't think they're playing particularly well. You touched on the fact they might be slightly tired from the semi-final as well. If Spurs get this right in terms of attitude and formation, then they can go on and win this game. That was a really poor pass there from Son. He was in behind, and Harry Kane was waiting for it. If it had come to him, and you know what you can do with one or two touches and stick the ball in the back of the net, so you've got to do better with your pass.
Pedro Porro gets it from Højbjerg and charges down the right side, looks to go through a very tight gap which Sancho closes, and then Manchester United managed to play their way out of trouble. Christian Eriksen playing here for the first time in an opposition jersey since leaving the club, by the way. On the ball, tries to exchange passes with Sancho, is a little bit sloppy. Porro nipped in again and has it far side. Romero is there. Back to halfway, 0-0 the score, 5 minutes gone. You're listening to TalkSport. Everton 0, Newcastle 1, the latest scoreline from Goodison Park on TalkSport 2. Southampton 0, Bournemouth 0 is the latest score in the Premier League in this midweek round of matches, where we're bringing you all 10 live on the TalkSport app. Tottenham's results against the teams above them tells you where they really are, I think. Against the top 7 this season, they played 9, won 1, and that win was a fluky win against Manchester City. They've lost the other 8. Manchester United have been great against the top teams at home, but away they've struggled so far this season. Here the ball is on halfway. It's picked up by Victor Lindelof in the blood red of Manchester United. Rashford's dropped off into a 10 position, running forward, challenged by Skip, but he's emerged with the ball, worked into the left-hand side, into the penalty area. Sancho onto his right foot, into the far corner, terrific goal. Brilliant finish from Jadon Sancho. 6 minutes into the game, Manchester United with their first attack, strike first in North London, and Tottenham are behind again. Brilliant, well-worked goal from Manchester United. Marcus Rashford at its heart, and Jadon Sancho with the finish. Sancho scoring just his 6th goal of the season, and it's taken just over 6 minutes to get it. It's Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1.
It's too simple though, Sam, it really is, and it's not dissimilar to the first goal at St James's Park, where Joelinton cut in from the left and on his right foot. Marcus Rashford evades the tackle, the ball goes out wide, and he comes inside Sancho, and there's 3 Spurs players someone has to stop the shot. No one gets close enough to make sure there's some kind of blockage there. Again, it's Romero coming in, too busy about trying to get his hands behind his back. Just get closer to him, get tighter. And Sancho does really well, I have to say. It's a wonderful finish, comes inside with one touch and whips it round Romero, giving Forster no chance whatsoever. That's a really good goal from Manchester United's point of view, but a really shocking goal from Spurs'.
Tottenham Hotspur, we're closing down is optional. Here is Richarlison down the left-hand side. Perisic towards the byline, low cross into the centre, flashes through the 18-yard box and goes the other side. 8 minutes gone. I mean, that was pretty embarrassing, really, wasn't it? The first attack that Manchester United have fashioned, and they don't go and close him down, they don't get close to him, he's inside the penalty area, you know what he's going to do, it's Jadon Sancho, he's cutting in on his right foot.
It's basic defending, it really is. And look, there was a run down the left-hand side by, I think it was Darlow, but let him pass it down the outside, and that gives the centre-halves then the ability to get themselves in the right position and ready for that cross to come in. The moment you allow a winger to come inside on his right foot, it opens up the goal, then you're just hoping it's not a very good shot, and it was a great finish.
Brilliant finish from Jadon Sancho, puts Manchester United into a 7th minute lead. The week started with Spurs players reimbursing the supporters who made the trip to Newcastle on Sunday. They're very well paid, the Spurs players, but I don't think they've got enough money to refund everybody in this stadium tonight. The ball's been played forward by Anthony up towards Rashford, won by Tottenham in midfield. Skip nudges it forward onto Kane, it's picked up by Son, he drops into his own half and then plays it left to Perisic. Perisic goes backwards and gives it to Clement Longley, who's on loan from Barcelona. It's played into Eric Dyer, and now there's a bit of space for Skip, who clips the ball over the top. Richarlison yet to score a Premier League goal for Tottenham is vying with Wan-Bissaka, but he was offside, and it's a free kick just in front of the penalty area away to our left-hand side. I mean, the fans that are coming here tonight, and I mentioned it beforehand, the PR spin, the notes in the programme from Ryan Mason, Paul Coy on the PA explaining about the heartfelt stories that coming through the generations to Tottenham and believing that this team could win, the culture of to dare is to do, and the game is about glory. What the fans really wanted was payback on the pitch. The talk is cheap.
Yeah, and the music, you know, the whole club has tried to hype this game up and get the players ready and get the fans on side, but ultimately it's about what 11 players can do on the pitch. And, you know, I'm going to say a very old-fashioned word, Sam, communication. I think it's gone out of football nowadays, I really do. There's no talking from Romero at all. He's not telling Porro to let the ball go outside. He's not saying anything full stop, and he's not getting tight. Now people might say, well, you know, hold a minute, Porro's the right wing back, Sanchez plays out wide, but when you've got a guy who's overlapping, Porro has to keep half an eye on him, and then you expect the man to come across to help decide things, and Romero hasn't.
Perisic has just headed the ball straight to Marcus Rashford. Anthony into Fernandes. They're high up inside Tottenham territory here on the right side. Anthony now coming infield. A little exchange of passes with Rashford, who's got gloves on tonight. It is that cold. I turned around to our on-field producer tonight, Izzy, and said, when is it going to be spring? It feels like November.
It's May next week, apparently.
Skip is dispossessed by Dalot, far side, too easily. Picked up now midway inside Spurs territory by Sancho. Tottenham have the ball. The referee, Anthony Taylor, just glancing around and looking at where everybody is stationed on the pitch, getting his coordinates. Tottenham really haven't found theirs yet. Anthony has it, halfway line. Ball played through the centre circle, and Luke Shaw has it once again. They went through a goalless 120 minutes with Brighton and didn't stretch Robert Sanchez too often, Manchester United, and they have looked a little tired recently as injuries have taken their toll, but it only took them 7 minutes to get in front in this game here. Here is Casemiro sliding it forward to Rashford, quicker to it than Dyer, who fouls him from behind. Free kick. It's a good 8 yards outside the penalty area, a shade right of centre.
They're half a yard off at the moment, Spurs. Manchester United are bossing it, certainly in midfield, with Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford dropping off as like almost a false nine at times. I'm not seeing a big difference, I have to say, from Antonio Conte's 3-4-3, which actually is quite often a 5-4-1. Chasing but half a yard off all the time. They need to get on the ball, make some passes, get into the final third of Manchester United. They got the players, but at the moment I think they've been really shell-shocked by that goal.
Fraser Forster, who was a League Cup runner-up with Southampton against Manchester United in 2017 at Wembley, had to come off the bench as a substitute at half-time at Newcastle because of a problem with Hugo Lloris. His hip, or was it his knee? Ankle.
Has he decided yet?
I don't know. Free kick just outside, around about 30-yard range, just outside striking range, I think, for Marcus Rashford. He might have a go from here. He hits it through the knuckles towards the far corner. It wasn't too far away, but I think Forster had that covered. Yeah,
but we know how good he is at free kicks, especially from that kind of position. Maybe just a little bit far out, but it was not a million miles away, and it was a side where Forster was, and he still looked like he wasn't absolutely comfortable with it.
1-0 to Manchester United, live on TalkSport. Newcastle United lead away at Everton by 1-0. It's 0-0 in the South Coast game between Southampton and Bournemouth. It's not a derby, there's only one South Coast derby, but that's not it. Although there is increasingly a little bit of hostility between those two teams. Here is Richarlison down the left-hand side into the penalty area, onto his right foot, shoots straight down the throat of David De Gea. I think the offside flag would have gone up anyway over on the far side, but David De Gea made a comfortable save nevertheless.
Better though, much better. That's what you want to see Spurs doing, and that's what they can do. Very good in the transition. Yeah, I think he probably was just half a yard offside, but at least he's playing on the last man, cuts inside. Not the best of shots, but giving the fans something, who, to be fair, trying to get behind their team.
Matthias Vinhas had a goal disallowed for the Cherries away at Southampton. Newcastle in front, and that's a big result in the context of the Champions League places. Here on the right-hand side, Anthony picking the ball up, looking to take on Richarlison, left-footed, clips the ball towards the far side. Porro trying to get it away from Sancho, succeeds, brings it infield, and it's with Son. And now Højbjerg, right on the edge of his own D here, clips it forward very quickly. Richarlison trying to run in behind. Wan-Bissaka getting back at him, does well enough to hold him off. Richarlison is slowed up, Kane's taken over, the ball's poked through, Manchester United get back, and Casemiro nudges it away. Ball picked up on the edge of the D by Kane, who's scrapping for it. Casemiro getting tied in a bit of a knot. Wan-Bissaka shoots it clear. It gets to the halfway line, and the Tottenham fans a little bit more encouraged by a slightly more progressive passage of play.
They certainly are. They're desperate to get behind the team here. They really are. They're behind them even when sometimes Manchester United are on the attack. But that was much better. Again, Richarlison looking to go over the top. He wasn't offside. The ball just held up. And in the end, Harry Kane wasn't able to put Son in. But just the last couple of minutes have been a lot better. And you can hear the fans now singing.
Yeah, that was slightly better from Tottenham Hotspur, but Manchester United's attack will still fancy their chances against this Spurs backline that have conceded 19 times in their meeting with the top four this season. Shaw has done terrific coming in at left centre-back. He's actually been brilliant at left full-back this season as well. He plays it infield to Casemiro, dealt with by Dalot, who nudges it to the far side. Oh, it's a poor touch by Sancho. It's bounced off him like his legs were made of concrete. It came back down the right for Porro into Kane. Kane's attempted cross is blocked by Shaw. Kane scurries back to keep Tottenham in possession. Romero sends his players forward. There's no one to aim at for him. He plays it infield. Son drops deep. Richarlison's only lurking on the edge of the area. There isn't many other white shirts to aim at. They go wide to the right. Romero now skip, then back to halfway, and Højbjerg. 16 gone. You're listening to Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1 on TalkSport with Now Sports, and don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports 18 Plus, streamed via the internet. Terms apply. 1-0 to Manchester United. Goal scored by Jadon Sancho after 7 minutes. Longley fires the ball through the centre circle, high into the air over the far side. Porro brings it infield, finds the South Korean Son, who is looking to go level with Jermaine Defoe on Spurs all-time scoring list today. Nudged back by Porro, back into Romero. Romero into Son again, trying to get away from Casemiro. Plays it down the right. Richarlison chases, gets to the byline, produces a cross. It's going to be David De Gea's ball. He comes out, stretches his long arms into the evening sky, clutches it into his body, and will clear away for Manchester United.
I'm just surprised Harry Kane didn't read that, and he just had his head in his hands as well, because he knows he should have done. Richarlison, the ball's in behind, he's definitely not offside. All he can do is try and get the ball, cut it back to the near post.
Wan-Bissaka was just dawdling a little bit and playing everyone on side from that move. Manchester United coming forward though with Anthony, and then Wan-Bissaka joining the attack. He goes on the outside of Longley, then steers the ball towards the far post through the 6-yard box. It wasn't a great delivery, but it wasn't the worst elevation into the area either, and no one attacked it.
It's a decent ball, that, I tell you. That was just in that corridor of uncertainty between the goalkeeper and the back three as well. Someone again on the other side should be reading it. No one get in there. Marcus Rashford, the man up there. Again, not quite the sort of out-and-out number 9. You imagine a certain guy called Erling Haaland would have been on the end of that.
He was great last night, wasn't he,
He wasn't bad, was he?
I was pleased that he ended up getting his goal in the game. I knew he was losing his temper a little bit when he ripped out his hair bobble and threw it on the floor and then started parading around like Thor. I thought, oh no, they're in trouble now.
I thought of you when he did that. That's the type of thing you do.
That's what I'm trying to go for, that look. Yeah, I haven't quite got there yet. It might take another couple of years and a few quid in hair extensions for me to get to that level, but you never know.
That's the midlife crisis coming. But you're right, he was superb. He was unplayable.
18 gone. It's 1-0 to Manchester United, live on Talk Sport. Here is Christian Eriksen in the heart of the Manchester United midfield, picking the ball out and scooping it towards the far side. Lindelof does brilliantly, and Richarlison didn't fancy it. Anthony out towards the right side. Wan-Bissaka looking to feed Fernandes away by Højbjerg as Tottenham are getting pinned back again, and it's out for a throw in level with the edge of the penalty area on the right side as Manchester United look at it. Quickly thrown into Lindelof back to halfway. Manchester United at the moment the dominant force in the game. They lead by a goal to 0. There's no Varane, no Martinez. Rashford isn't 100% fit, and we're not sure about Fernandes, but he's here. Here's Anthony, here is Fernandes, loads of space, far side to the left. Sancho again, comes back to him after the first block. It's deflected towards goal, headed off the line by Perisic, who got back and prevented a certain goal. But once again, Tottenham lopsided, far too much space for Sancho. He probably should have scored.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Perisic, he should have won the tackle in the first place, so he got his team out of trouble there. Great diving lunge from Romero, and then the fact the shot came back and Perisic in the right place, but he's gone to win the tackle in the first place. Anthony, we know, in a 50-50 is almost going to jump out the way, and if you're up against a winger who's very skillful but, should we say, not the most physical, you win that early tackle. He didn't do that, and in the end he had to get that goal line clearance.
Half-time down at St Mary's. Alex Crook.
Half-time, it's Southampton 0, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth keeper Neto has made good saves to keep out both Theo Walcott and Adam Armstrong. Walcott has headed against the crossbar, and the Cherries did have the ball in the back of the net, but Mateus Vinha's strike ruled out because Dominic Solanke was offside in the build-up. Half-time here, Southampton 0, Bournemouth 0.
And it's 20 minutes played here. We kicked off at 8:15 tonight, and it's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 1, live on Talk Sport, and all the games are available on Talk Sport, including that game between Southampton and Bournemouth on the app. Anthony and Rashford have robbed Longley of the ball on the edge of his own penalty area.
That's a foul.
Then Anthony was thrust to the floor, and that should have been a foul. Anthony Taylor's played on, and Pedro Porro is steaming forward. He's hit the ball right-footed from 30 yards. It's gone way over the top of the crossbar. It was a waste of a move anyway. But actually, there should have been a free kick at the other end, Scott Minto.
Absolutely, 25 yards out, and as well, Marcus Rashford would have fancied his chances, already having the marker a few minutes ago. And just looking at the chance that had Jadon Sancho had, first of all, Romero does make a really good tackle, and then it comes off Longley, and Perisic, right place, right time. It's going straight in the middle of the goal. But again, he could have stopped all that with an early tackle on Anthony, and that's what you want to do as a full-back or wing-back up against someone who's skillful but small. Obviously, Perisic is not the most. He's not Stuart Pearce, but you want to try and be against a winger like that. Make him think, I'm not going into a tackle. He didn't. Anthony won the ball, and they very nearly made it 2-0 United.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit strange that they've decided. I mean, look, they've got players that can play on that left-hand side, but ultimately, I think recruitment-wise, they've had a few issues in terms of recruiting the kind of forward-thinking left wing-back that maybe they want. I mean, Sessegnon is someone obviously they believed in and wanted to develop over time. Hasn't really worked out for him yet. Ben Davies is almost tucked in now as a left centre-half rather than a left wing-back, although he has played that position in the past. Perisic is a creative left wing-back. He's not a defensive left wing-back. He's the most assists maker in the Tottenham team this season as the ball is cleared from the edge of the 18-yard box. There's a foul on Anthony from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Ryan Mason's not happy. He's having a word with the fourth official, but the free kick is going to go Manchester United's way, just right of centre inside their own half.
No, and you're absolutely right about Perisic. So even more so to put him left back last week like they did. you're negating a lot of his attacking talent and asking him to do something he doesn't feel comfortable doing. But that was simply a 50-50 ball that he lost against Anthony. I'd be embarrassed to have done that.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin has got the ball in the back of the net in the game at Goodison Park, but it's been disallowed because of offside, and the decision seemed to be that before the whistle goes for half-time, he was deemed in an offside position, so Everton remain 1-0 down. So do Tottenham. Here's Anthony, onto Ericsson. Look at the space for Sancho, far side. He's got the ball on the left edge of the area. Ericsson goes on the overlap. It's a little bit behind him. Ericsson manages to keep hold of it, and he's distracted momentarily by a number of balloons that have just graced the field of play, and he has to work his way out towards the far side. That ball boy should be getting up and popping those. Here is Casemiro, back towards the left. Sancho's got to negotiate the Tottenham defence and a couple of balloons once again. Goes back infield to Lindelof, and Manchester United have possession.
The ball boy's still not moving.
Come on,
even
fella.
The balloon's off the pitch.
Sancho hugging the touchline over on the far side. Back infield it goes to Luke Shaw. Manchester United leading by a goal to nil ever since the 7th minute. Their first attack, Sancho scoring. Poor Tottenham defending. And elsewhere tonight, Newcastle won up at half-time against Everton, and 0-0 between Southampton and Bournemouth. Ericsson picks the ball up, runs down the left channel, left by Fernandes beautifully. Rashford out wide to Anthony. Anthony into Fernandes, right-footed shot blocked by Romero. Good football by Manchester United. And once again, the Tottenham defence leaving something to be desired, and Eric Dyer just having a word with his midfield, saying there's not enough pressure on the ball.
Yeah, it's just the movement of Manchester United. It's really good. You've got Ericsson pushing on a little bit, finding pockets of space. Bruno Fernandes as well. Marcus Rashford dropping off. Anthony's coming inside. And in the end, Romero not happy at all defensively, and Spurs on the back foot, cannot afford to concede a second.
Tottenham 6 in the table, 6 points behind Newcastle in 3rd. United in 4th. Although both teams have played fewer games than Spurs. Here is the corner to be taken by Luke Shaw, who's not happy about the position of a microphone, so kicks it out the way, then clips the ball in towards the near post, headed into the air by Pedro Porro, and then comes out to Ericsson. Ericsson, who graced that Tottenham jersey, was brilliant for Tottenham over 6 years of the club. Plays the ball infield to Wan-Bissaka. Back to Ericsson once again. Shaw. Infield to Fernandes. I think the game on Sunday actually was a bit difficult for Ericsson against Brighton. Almost passed him by a little bit. He's still coming back to full fitness after 2.5 months out. We've seen a lot of the ball in the early stages here, and he's used it well. 25 gone, 1-0. Casemiro far side, back to halfway, and it's with Dalla.
Yeah, and when you're up against your former side, Sam, as well, that just gives you that 2 or 3 extra % that you want to impress the fans that you played for back in the day.
Oh, what a turn past Dyer from Fernandes towards the edge of the area. Left-footed shot flapped away by Fraser Forster, and he puts it out for a corner kick. It seemed to sort of slip through his gloves, but certainly Bruno Fernandes slipped past Eric Dyer as if he wasn't even there.
Well, you're right on both counts. What a turn that was from Bruno Fernandes, and I think flapped is probably the right expression for it. It's one of those where can he not catch it, but he's feeling so nervous about the ball dipping. It's a little bit out to the left. I think he should be catching that personally, but not the cleanest of pushing out.
Clinical at the New York Stadium. We'll get there in just a second. We've got a corner here on Talk Sport. Alan Biggs is waiting for us, and we're waiting for the corner to be taken, and so are the Manchester United players who think that Porro is not 10 yards. That's a short one to Shaw, who gets it back from Sancho, gives it to Ericsson, who whips it in towards the far post where there's acres of space for Casemiro inside the area, tees it out, goes to Anthony, bobbles out of play on the far side. It's away for a... Hold on, it's given offside against Casemiro. He didn't touch it. I thought that was going to be a corner.
What a ball. Was that Ericsson who put in that ball?
Yeah, it was absolutely terrific.
First time the ball come back to him, whipped it in. And if again, just someone reading the ball coming in, that would have been fantastic. Short corner, ball out, and the way that he's whipped it in.
Well, it's definitely not offside, by the way, Casemiro from the first ball. So you're suggesting then that from the second ball, which is going nowhere near him, that he's offside. I think that's unfair. I don't think he was offside, do you?
Second time he might well have been.
All right, we'll see. Anyway, they didn't get the corner kick that they were hoping for. We have had a goal at the New York Stadium in Rotherham, and Alan Biggs can give us the details.
Rotherham 1, Cardiff 1. Chio Ogbeni with Rotherham's equaliser, the product of a superb whipped cross from Wes Harding, and Ogbeni darting in to bury the header at the back post. Rotherham 1, Cardiff 1.
Remember, it's Southampton 0, Bournemouth 0. And remember, by this stage on Friday night, Southampton had scored twice against Arsenal. Bournemouth had the worst defence in the league. The joint worst defence in the league, sorry. And it's Newcastle 1-0 up away at Everton. And if things stay like this, the gap between Manchester United and Tottenham will be quite significant. End up being 9 points at the end of the night. And Manchester United sitting in 4th position. That shows how far Tottenham are falling in double quick time. Remember, they were favourites at one stage to reach the top 4. Here's Højbjerg round the corner to Richarlison into the area, and he gets into the box into a shooting position, and instead of striking towards goal, he went to square it, and he hits the first defender. It goes behind, and it's out for a corner kick.
He's coming inside on his right foot, and yet he still kind of manoeuvres his body to his left foot to try and whip it into the far post. Did you say he hasn't scored yet in the Premier League for Spurs?
The only 2 goals he scored came in this stadium in the Champions League game against Marseille back in the autumn.
I'm not surprised with a mindset like that. You've got to shoot, go for the far post, and if it's parried out, then someone can follow it in.
Corner kick first of the game for Tottenham, away to our left-hand side, delivered into the near post, flicked towards goal, punched away from Perisic's header by De Gea, then blocked by Manchester United, who look to immediately go on the counter-attack. They've got options going forward as well. Anthony is one of those. And the ball is played to Wan-Bissaka from Luke Shaw out towards the right side. Fernandes looking up, lays it into Rashford. Space out wide for Anthony if they want to use him instead. Rashford switches the play intelligently out to Eriksen. What a delicious ball that was. And now Sancho turning, spiralling towards the edge of the area. Fernandes, Eriksen. Referee almost got in the way. Apex of the penalty area left side is Jadon Sancho again. And Tottenham's best chance has led to a Manchester United attack. In towards Wan-Bissaka on the edge of the box. It comes back to Lindelof, and again they're very passive, Tottenham, and allow Manchester United to have the ball. Fired towards the edge of the box, cleared away. Richarlison not going anywhere, and he runs into Eriksen, goes down far too cheaply. Anthony Taylor says play on. Manchester United have got it back again. Nearly half an hour gone. 1-0 to United. Over on the far side, Sancho teasing Porro, comes infield, went to lay it off, and actually a better ball, and they would have been in big trouble there. Richarlison trying to hold it up on the edge of his own penalty area, and gets engaged with Wan-Bissaka, and he's not happy about it, so he has a right go at Anthony Taylor, the referee, and then Anthony Taylor now wants a word with him. He's going to discipline him in some way, shape or form, just warn him to cool his temperature because he's getting a little bit out of hand.
Yeah, look, that battle there between Sancho and Porro is, Sancho knows he's got Porro, he really has. I watched a lot of Porro for Sporting Lisbon. He's a very, very good player. His main attributes are going forward, not necessarily defensively, and if that's the case as a wing-back, then you make sure your centre-half or one of the central midfielders comes and help you. You certainly don't allow him to come inside and have a shot, and if it means he beats you, let him beat you down the outside, so he has to put a cross in, not an actual shot as well. So that's a really key battle there that at the moment Sancho is winning.
You're a key linguist, aren't you? You're very good at the Portuguese, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You're almost like a native speaker.
You're falava português,
yes,
you've got to know.
You're very good at it, which is why I was quite surprised that you rather deliberately called them Sporting Lisbon, which they hate. But as an ex-Benfica player, I know you're doing it to taunt them.
Yeah, Sporting Club de Portugal.
Yes, they hate being called Sporting Lisbon. Ball being played out towards the near side. Richarlison takes it on. He motors down the left side, looking for the run of Perisic. His cross is blocked by Wan-Bissaka. It goes out for a corner. Currently Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1, and for the latest odds head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Spurs to come back and win the game at 11-2, Manchester United to win the game at 9-4 on. The draw is 10-3. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org. Tottenham Hotspur have got to come from behind in their plush, new, shining, space-age stadium. And against the Manchester United team, whose away form against the top sides this season hasn't been great. The ball delivered from the right side by Porro. It's far too hefty, and it goes right through the penalty area and out the other side and away for a goal kick. It's a bit of a waste of a delivery.
Yeah, but even then, someone should... It goes long enough. What was that, 50 yards? Someone should be able to read that flight, even if it is a little bit overhit. And just in that final third, you know, Spurs haven't got that confidence. Manchester United, I have to say, have been very good in this first half so far. They've bossed it.
has enough been made of the fact that Bentancur and Basuma have been injured and almost ripped the heart out of the midfield? And look, I say that Basuma wasn't playing every week. Let's not pretend he was. But Bentancur is a big miss for them. But should a team capitulate as much as they have because of one injury?
No, and I don't think it is because of one injury. I think there's much more to it than that. I think Antonio Conte, he may well have gone, but I think this team is perhaps going to have to feel a little bit of Conte for a good few weeks yet, and that's something that Ryan Mason needs to try and shake off very, very quickly. At the moment, I'm not really seeing anything different.
Fernandes slipping the ball through towards Rashford. Again, he was allowed to turn in far too much space inside the Tottenham half, and then Shaw has just nabbed it off Son too easily. Down the left, Sancho plays it out to Dalot in the left wing position, lays it to the edge of the area. Fernandes slips it onto Anthony, into Rashford from Fernandes. He tries to turn. This time Richarlison has to come back and help out the defence. They're too afraid to make a tackle.
The thing is, even if they have numbers going back, they're not getting tight enough. The movement of Manchester United, they're almost playing 1-2s inside Spurs' box. And yet, until that final shot comes in, there's no block, there's no tackle, there's no kind of getting touch tight.
I'll tell you what, Spurs will be absolutely delighted that it's only 1-0.
This scoreline flatters them, not United.
1-0 to Manchester United. 33 minutes gone at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. United have kept 6 clean sheets in their last 8 league games, but the defence has had a few enforced absences. Here's Richarlison into the area looking for Perisic, and it's cleared away by Shaw, but the offside flag was up about an hour ago, so it was never going to count, and it's going to be a free kick away to our left-hand side. This is Talk Sport. We're live at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's a place built for Champions League football, but I don't think Tottenham are going to get Champions League football this season. In fact, it's amazing really how bad they've been that Spurs still have a chance of any European football. It's
incredible. You feel like, whether you want to use the word crisis or not, with Spurs and Chelsea and Spurs in terms of headlines has been pretty much the same, and yet, as you say, you look at Spurs still technically have a chance of top 4. Chelsea in the bottom half at the moment.
Rashford is offside as the ball is played up by David De Gea. The referee says play on. Pedro Porro to Romero's right. He's calling for the ball. Romero's wandered a long way with the ball. He almost got dispossessed by Christian Eriksen there. He kept hold of it for so long that Eriksen felt that it was nabbable. Didn't get it in the end and goes out to the far side. Hugging the touchline right side is Pedro Porro. Back into Romero. Romero again wandering, ambling, slow and rather turgid football from Tottenham. They're not moving the ball with any pace. Oliver Skipp's allowed to come forward with it, and then he plays the ball out towards the right hand side. Met by Porro. Infield it goes to Son. Doesn't know what to do with it, so hesitates, twirls, goes away from goal. Back to Højbjerg. Then it's into Skipp again. He moves in towards the midpoint of the Manchester United half before laying it off to Longley. This is Perisic, tight to the touchline left side. And Manchester United just staying in their shape, getting ready to pounce, and then when they do, they look to make it count. And they do usually, although Rashford just given the ball away cheaply to Longley, and then Skipp has returned the favour by giving it straight to Lindelof. Half-time at Rotherham, Alan Biggs.
Yes, Rotherham United 1, Cardiff 1. Late drama. Sori Kaba had a chance to put Cardiff back in front from a penalty. He hit the crossbar. This was after Jadon Philogene was tripped earlier. Kian Etete headed Cardiff in front. Chio Ogbeni headed Rotherham level. Good game. Rotherham 1, Cardiff 1.
Manchester United clearing from the edge of their box, but great chance for Spurs when Richarlison teased the ball through the penalty area. It went travelling through the 6-yard box. Harry Kane was on the edge of the D. There was no one there to convert the chance.
Yeah, I'm just watching the movement of Harry Kane. There isn't much of it. I mean, to be fair to the Spurs midfield, when they look up, there's only Richarlison really that's kind of making that movement, certainly in behind, although he's getting offside far too many times. And just on that last chance as well, it is Harry Kane who plays the ball to Richarlison. The ball finds itself on the other side, and Pedro Porro, to be fair, he should be sprinting in at the far post. Son comes in, even with his type of movement, it's not enough. They're just a bit too stationary, it's a bit too easy, whereas, wonder whether the sharpness that perhaps wouldn't be there at United after that semi-final certainly is with the away side, and it's not with the home side.
Well, Manchester United haven't had to force the issue so far in the game. That was a late challenge by Eric Dyer on Victor Lindelof, who's bounced straight back up. Fernandes has sent the ball wide to the left. Sancho is beaten to it by Romero with a rather clumsy challenge, puts the ball out of play over on the far side. And he's not afraid of a clumsy challenge, Christian Romero. He has been booked 8 times, sent off twice in 17 games since the World Cup.
Is that all?
The celebrations were good, I think.
I think his attitude has got worse since it. I think, you know, as I say, I joked earlier, he thinks he's Lionel Messi. I think he thinks he's Franz Beckenbauer, and he just needs to go back to what he was. The World Cup's gone now. Spurs need him.
Dyer has the ball in the heart of the Tottenham half. It's given to Højbjerg, who tosses it over the top. And Richarlison and Son weren't sure who to chase. Luke Shaw's done brilliantly to come across from left centre-back to clear it. Perisic has won it, given it to Son. Son 30 yards from goal, finds Harry Kane. Sancho comes across, though, from the blind side, dispossesses him in the middle of the Manchester United half, and then Manchester United looks to try and break from midfield. Fernandes gets there ahead of Son. The ball is worked towards the far side. They're ready to fight, Manchester United. They're up for it, they're up for the scrap, and I'm not sure Tottenham are.
Now, do you know what? Sancho came back really well defensively, but I'd just like to give Luke Shaw a mention. We talked about last week, you know, wing-backs playing full-back. The transition from full-back to centre-half, especially in the back four, is much harder than a wing-back to full-back. And yet he's doing it absolutely seamlessly.
Have you done that transition?
I have. I've played in a back 3, and it's a lot easier to do that than in a back 2 or back 4, whichever you want to call it. And look, you know, he's got that physique, he's got the height, he reads the game well, and he's been superb tonight.
FA Cup winner Scott Minto with us in the commentary box at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Manchester United lead by a goal to 0. Richarlison dispossessed again, and the ball is given to Casemiro, then Fernandes, and then Jadon Sancho breaks away on the left-hand side. Not much support from Marcus Rashford in the centre. Spurs players getting back. Sancho getting into the area, taking it away from Skip, giving it to Fernandes, 5 yards outside the box. He flicks it to the far post. Rashford is there. Goalkeeper's come out, made a big save, and he needed to. It was a really good ball from Fernandes to play in Marcus Rashford, but it was a bit too easy for Manchester United to carve that Tottenham defence open again. Anthony Eriksen out wide to Wan-Bissaka, cross into the box, it's headed away by Porro. In comes Casemiro, steers it towards the left, but he was too close to Son, who's wriggled away from the Brazilian. A chance for maybe Harry Kane to break. Son tries to play it out to the left-hand side. There's not too many options for Kane. He's isolated. He needs help. Højbjerg comes to join. There's 5 red shirts getting back. Højbjerg goes down the left now into the penalty area. Plays it back to Kane. Kane through the box. And through the 6-yard box, the steered effort goes. It was never troubling David De Gea. Goes out on the far side and away for a throw-in, so we'll go down to Southampton and a goal for TalkSport's Alex Crook.
Oh boy, Southampton are in trouble. They're in big trouble now. Southampton 0, Bournemouth 1. Marcus Tavernier with a goal. 6 minutes into the second half, he picked up the ball just on the edge of the area, danced through a crowded box and fired low into the bottom corner. Southampton 0, Bournemouth 1.
And you can hear the joy in Alex Crook's voice, can't you, Scott, there?
I'm not saying a word.
Yeah, you can hear it, because basically he was panicking last week when they got a couple of goals against Arsenal, because he'd written them off completely. So, what did he say to us on the Game Day podcast from TalkSport? I think he said they were dead to the Premier League or something, didn't he?
Yeah, and he loves Bournemouth as well, doesn't he?
And he was really panicking, I think, at the point of 3-1 and 2-0, but he's happier now.
We'll have a chat to him tomorrow morning in the podcast. Yes,
so the podcast will be out tomorrow afternoon, when you'll be able to get the previews to the weekend and the reactions to the midweek stuff on the TalkSport app. There's loads of stuff on that TalkSport app. Lovely ball by Eriksen out towards the left-hand side. Rashford's into the area. He shoots down the throat of the goalkeeper, who makes a big save. Comes back to Eriksen. Into Fernandes, back out to the wide left position, chested down by Dalot. There's a foul by Fernandes. They were going to play the advantage, then decided, we'll have the free kick. Yellow card for Højbjerg for a late foul on Fernandes.
No, it's a lack of discipline that shows that they're just getting the runaround at the moment. Højbjerg doesn't need to make that type of challenge, and certainly he's not going to get there. He wants to get tight, but he's nowhere near it. Fernandes playing really well. I'm not actually sure he gets a lot of contact, but the way he came in has not only got a yellow card, but also it's a very dangerous position, and we're just seeing, that's the second time now that Fraser Forster has stopped Marcus Rashford, and they may be playing with a back 3 and sometimes back 5, but United are finding spaces all over this Spurs defence.
Well, Forster's made 2 saves from Rashford, And that's twice I've seen the ball break to the left-hand side very quickly, and there not be enough numbers. Romero and Porro have gone completely missing, leaving a huge gap for Manchester United to attack. This free kick is in a dangerous area, isn't it? Because Eriksen's standing over it.
Well, yeah. Where's Marcus Rashford here?
He's in the sort of secondary wall in front of the Tottenham wall, made up of 4 white shirts in the D. It's pretty straight, this. Eriksen's going to hit it, right-footed, over the wall towards the near corner, and it goes about a yard over the top of the crossbar. Didn't trouble Fraser Forster.
No, I'd have given Marcus Rashford another go. He had a bit of a taster just before. This is bang in front of goal, 30 yards out. The way he can get it up and down with the force and pace that he does, I think he would have been better in that particular situation.
You're listening to Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1 on TalkSport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. This is TalkSport. Wan-Bissaka fouls Richarlison. Good job, really, because it wasn't a great kick out from Fraser Forster. It's a yellow card for Wan-Bissaka. It's sort of ironic cheers from Tottenham fans, but I think they know at the moment they're being outplayed by Manchester United.
I don't think that was a yellow card. It was a definite foul. But it was a poor ball, Sam, you're right. It was a crossfield ball that was just skimming across, bouncing and bobbling, and Spurs very much under pressure in this first half. This is not the first half that Ryan Mason was looking for, and it might take a good few weeks to try and impose what he wants.
Well, there might be a chance for him to break here. Kane has sent Perisic away towards the edge of United penalty area. Left-footed drive straight down the middle of David De Gea's goal, and he makes a big save. Again, Lindelof's gone completely missing, and Shaw's had to come out towards the near side to help block that. Eventually Perisic comes back out to try and recycle it. Casemiro deals with the situation, and then it's picked up by Anthony, who robs Højbjerg of the ball, and then there's space over on the left for Rashford to chase into. Dyer's got to try and outpace him. That's not going to be easy. Rashford's gone into the penalty area. He's taken it wide and smashed it into the goal. It's 2-0 to Manchester United. From front to back in the blink of an eye, and Marcus Rashford gets his 29th goal of the season. The ball was sent long into the Tottenham half. Rashford had to take on Dyer for pace. There was only ever going to be one winner. He went on the outside and into the box and smashed it high past Fraser Forster to make it Tottenham 0, Manchester United 2. Manchester are United and Tottenham are a rabble.
You called it, didn't you? Once it was a one-on-one situation, there was only ever going to be one winner, and that shouldn't have happened. Eric Dyer does try to show him on the left, Marcus Rashford. Right thing to do there, but because he's so scared of his pace, he still allows him far too much space. And he comes out, Fraser Forster, nowhere near it. It's a really good strike from Marcus Rashford. It's actually gone on the inside rather than the far post, but it's amazing, isn't it? 30 seconds earlier, maybe not even that. Even Perisic has the chance to make it 1-1. Shoots straight at David De Gea. Suddenly a counter-attack from United, and Rashford makes it 2-0 United.
Could Fraser Forster have done anything different there? Because he came out and then he seemed to just melt to the floor a little bit too easily, really. Could he have stood up and made himself bigger in that situation?
Well, possibly. I think.
Or was he just trying to deal with an emergency given to him by Dyer?
Yeah, and I think when you're in that situation as a goalkeeper, you can see the way that the striker brings his foot back. He's trying for power, so you've got to make sure you try and make yourself as big as possible. Could he have gone? Should he have gone down? Look, or should he have stood up? I'm not so sure. I think it's one of those where you just try and make yourself as big as possible. And it went to the side of Forster, whereas the shot just earlier went straight at David De Gea from Perisic.
2 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho, a goal apiece at the end and the beginning of this first half, which Manchester United have enjoyed. Son, right side, looking for Porro in towards the near post, and that's easily caught by David De Gea. The problem here, of course, is that now Tottenham Hotspur will think they've got to come out and try and claw their way back into the game. That leaves gaps, and you know what Manchester United are all about on the counter-attack. Pace, and more pace.
Well, they're bossing it now, aren't they? They can dictate exactly how they want. They can make themselves just drop deep.
Oh, what is Romero doing? He got sucked in there. The ball bounced once and went right over his head. I mean, that is naive. Is that naive or is that naive?
Do you know what? Watch out for him as well, because he went straight out to the player on the wing, where he doesn't necessarily need to do that. He needs to leave his wing back to do that, and you're just feeling that his head's going. We already seen Højbjerg make the tackle and get a yellow card where he didn't need to. Romero making a mistake and almost going, he's liable for some kind of naughty challenge at some point. Spurs need to be careful. First of all, they keep their discipline, and this is a night, Sam, where they need to win. They need to win if they're going to finish top 4.
Well, Manchester United taking control of that top 4 position. Newcastle doing the same. They're leading Everton by a goal to nil. Everton did have a goal disallowed in that game. Bournemouth beating Southampton. All the games available on the TalkSport app. Just download the app. You can flick between the games that are available on the app, TalkSport 2, TalkSport, and you can get all the podcasts as well. And if you get the Virgin Radio app, by the way, not only can you listen to Chris Evans at breakfast and Graham Norton at the weekend, but there's a brilliant interview with Bono on there. He's talking about the new album. Chris Evans did that interview. It's cracking. Give it a listen if you've got a couple of minutes.
You'll be on Virgin at some point as well. TalkSport and Virgin.
Well, at half-time, boos greet Tottenham Hotspur's first half performance. Tottenham's season is getting worse and worse and worse. Manchester United heading for victory that will give them a tidy little cushion in the race for the Champions League. Sancho and Rashford with the goals. Tottenham barely laid a glove on United in that first 45 minutes. It's Tottenham 0, Manchester United 2.
I'm looking around at some of the faces inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and there's resignation, there's dejection. I think some of these fans are completely fed up with their football team, to be perfectly honest. They came here in hope that there would be a strong response after the embarrassment at Newcastle. We've seen none of that, really. A little bit of fight, a little bit of physicality, but no quality from this Spurs side so far this evening. And Manchester United have had an absolute field day. It has been a walk in the park in North London. They should have brought their dogs with them, to be perfectly honest. Sat down and had an ice cream as well, because it has been that easy. Scott Minto, what have you made of that first half?
I can't disagree with you, to be honest with you, Hugh. I mean, I thought you'd gone off there to get your ice cream.
I will at the end of the game.
Yeah, although it's not the weather for it. Look, you know, you're wanting a difference from Ryan Mason. I feel sorry for him. You know, he's wanted to try and change things, and yet this particular team right now is built for 3-4-3. But I'm watching the way they're playing, and it's exactly like a 3-4-3 under Antonio Conte. Obviously, the early goal doesn't help. You can't let Jadon Sancho come inside and have a shot. Suddenly you're 1-0 down. You're already lacking in confidence after what happened at St James's Park, and your manager going, and then the assistant manager, caretaker manager going as well. You cannot afford to be giving away cheap goals like that, and suddenly the whole psychology of the first half changes.
It's passive. It's absolutely passive. If these two teams were boxers on a ring walk, you would look in the eye of one of them and smell fear. And that is exactly what we've seen from Tottenham tonight in terms of the way that they've allowed Manchester United to have the ball. Manchester United have been doing Hollywood passes, tricks and flicks in that first half. They've been playing the rope-a-dope with those Spurs players at times, teasing them. It's been embarrassing from that perspective, because I was coming here tonight believing that even if tactically Spurs were not at the same level as Manchester United, their fight, their desire, their passion would be miles ahead, given what happened to them at Newcastle United. And in that respect, I'm utterly disappointed, and so are these Spurs fans.
Yeah, look, it doesn't always happen like that, Hugh. I mean, in theory, yes, and you know, Antonio Conte's gone, Stellini's gone as well. You know, okay, go out and be exactly how you should be. Well, it's not a flick switch. You can't just do it. And when players are lacking in confidence and you get a start like that, then suddenly it's very difficult to play in the way that certainly Ryan Mason wants his team to play. I don't necessarily think United have been flicks and tricks in terms of being flash. They've been really good. They've played the right ball at the right time. They've played little 1-2s when they've needed to. They've gone long when they've needed to as well. Bruno Fernandes with his pockets of space that he's moving into, with Christian Eriksen as well, and Marcus Rashford dropping off, and three centre-halves, sometimes not picking up anyone, but United dominating midfield, yet still finding space in this back three, back five. It's a tough time for Spurs at the moment, and it's going to be some team talk if they're going to get anything out of this game.
But my point on that was Spurs are affording the Manchester United players so much time, and we saw that with the second goal. Bruno Fernandes, you'd expect for him to have a little bit of pressure, because the only player in the opposition half was Marcus Rashford, and yet he was allowed to turn, pick his pass, and I'll be honest, he saw the matchup. He saw Dyer and he saw Rashford, and he thought, I'm just going to float it into that space that's been left in the right back area for Spurs. Marcus will get there first, and let's see what he can do. And he finished it, to be honest, with style. but once again it underlined where Tottenham are compared to Manchester United right now.
No, it did, absolutely. And from Eric Dyer's point of view, knowing that you could have a one-on-one situation against Marcus Rashford if Manchester United win the ball back quickly, he's got to be pulling in another one of his centre-halves and saying, you know, come and help me here, 2-on-1, just in case we lose the ball in transition. He hasn't done that, but what a ball it was from Fernandes. What a sort of run, first of all, off the ball from Marcus Rashford, and that's why he is really good in that position, although I also think he's really good coming off the left.
But let me tell you something about the time that Bruno Fernandes had. Marcus Rashford didn't make that run until after the ball was sent into that area. That is how confident he was, Bruno Fernandes, in terms of the pace of Rashford. Rashford didn't notice the ball until it was halfway over his head. He looked over and thought, oh, there it is, it's going into an area where I'll chase this down. And he suddenly looked, saw no one in the Spurs right back area and thought, not just will I get to this first, but I'll probably get a shot off. And he scored. It's so easy. You know, that's the only thing that I can say. Manchester United are good players. Spurs were punished by two very good players in Rashford and Fernandes. But you know, inside your home stadium, in front of your fans, off the back of a humiliation, I just expected a little bit more. And look, maybe it would be sensible for Spurs to have thought a little bit more defensively in that first half.
I think they're trying, Hugh. They are trying.
I'm too harsh, aren't I?
Well, you're very harsh, but that's fine. It's not a problem. Sometimes it's a 5-4-1 because so they are defending deep at times and trying to be, you know, very defensive and difficult to break down. But just the movement of Manchester United, alongside the lack of confidence that Spurs are having both with and without the ball. I talk about Eric Dyer, and he should be pulling Longley alongside him and saying, look, help me out here just in case we lose. It's Marcus Rashford, it's 2v1. But you're right to say that no one actually stopped the ball coming in the first place than Bruno Fernandes. 30 seconds earlier, even Perisic had a shot to make it 1-1.
Yeah.
He doesn't, he strikes it straight at De Gea. De Gea makes the save. But then you have to, from a midfield point of view, get tight on the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who is capable of that ball. Make sure you've got an extra person alongside you. It's a 2v1 that you need because it's Marcus Rashford. And by the time he had that shot, look, he did the right thing, Eric Dyer, in terms of showing him on his left. But he was so worried about his pace, and Marcus Rashford is so much quicker than Eric Dyer, that in the end he had about 2 yards, you know, to have that shot. He could have taken it another 1 or 2 touches further on, and Dyer still wouldn't have got anywhere near him.
All of the Spurs substitutes out here having a pretty rigorous warm-up. They've got a coach with them as well. We've seen Arno Danjuma in particular look the most sprightly. I wonder if there would be a change, because Spurs have lacked a cutting edge. You mentioned the chance that Perisic had there. He had a header early on that De Gea did well to save. We've seen the ball flashed across the 6-yard box a couple of times. Spurs just not being able to get the bodies into the box that they would have wanted, I think, in that half, and that maybe that is to do with the way that Manchester United have controlled possession in terms of committing.
We've actually
bodies
seen that
forward.
from both sides. Both sides. So? I think when the crosses come in, and I include United in this as well, the winger on the other side hasn't read the situation and got to the far post. I think there could have been a lot more goals from both sides, actually, if someone had just been thinking, I'm going to get in at the far post.
It's been an interesting first half, but ultimately not going the way that Spurs would have hoped. That first half review was brought to you by Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. We've seen none of the fight, cohesion and commitment that we expected really from Spurs to show their fans that they are proud to wear the famous lily white shirts. They have been second best to everything. At the break, live and exclusively on TalkSport, it is Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 2.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
It's just you versus your mates with LeBomb, the quality new football predictor app. With LeBomb, you predict the results for the weekend's big games, invite your mates, then add a few quid to the in-app pot. The mate with the most points at the end of the weekend wins the cash kitty. Simple. With LeBomb, it's just you versus your mates, wherever you are. Download the LeBomb app today and get your mates on it this weekend. LeBomb. Lebom. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Winning subject to 10% transaction fee.
Kick-off on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In April, we've got 12mm V-Groove Vario laminate flooring for only £9.99 per square metre ex-VAT. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
VAT charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
Rodri to De Bruyne, flicked on to Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
Hello, my friend. Life comes at you fast.
Our internet terms apply.
Leave behind the workday blues. Game day.
This Saturday, exclusive kick-by-kick commentary of Brighton versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Coverage from 2:30, kick-off 3 p.m.
on TalkSport 2.
So, at the half, exclusively live here on TalkSport, it is Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 2, thanks to a couple of very well-taken goals from Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. It means if things stay the same, Manchester United will be fourth in the table on 62 points, but a clear 6 points ahead of fifth place Aston Villa. 8 points clear of Aston Villa, having played 2 games fewer. A very, very strong position. Newcastle United are 1 up on Everton this evening. Bournemouth 1 up on Southampton as well. We'll check in on both of those games in a moment. Before we get there, though, let's get a half-time odds update with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
So the Spurs win at this point in time is a rather lengthy 22-1. The draw you can get at 17-2, and Manchester United looking very strong favourites for the victory from 2 goals up, 1-9 odds. Those are the latest odds with Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
2 other games in the Premier League tonight ongoing. Let's go to St Mary's. Alex Crook has the latest on a huge game at the bottom.
Southampton 0, Bournemouth 1. 18 minutes to go here. It's the away fans who've made the 30-mile trip along the south coast who are singing "We Are Staying Up." Marcus Tavernier with the only goal 6 minutes into the second half. Fine individual effort it was as well. Picked up the ball, Tavernier, on the right corner of the penalty area. Beat one man, cut in on his left foot, and then caressed the ball beautifully into the bottom corner beyond Alex McCarthy, making his first Premier League start of the season in the Southampton goal. Bournemouth could have had a penalty soon after. Ryan Christie's cross, clearly for me handled by Jan Bednarek, but neither the on-field referee Darren England or VAR intervened, and it's Bournemouth who have come closest to adding to the scoring. Joe Rothwell from the edge of the area forcing a fine save from McCarthy. Southampton have 17 minutes to save their Premier League skins. It's Southampton 0, Bournemouth 1.
If things stay the same, Southampton would be 6 points behind Nottingham Forest with 5 games to go. Bournemouth would pull 7 points clear of the drop zone. Incredible if Gary O'Neill can get Bournemouth over the line. Remember, elsewhere tonight, Newcastle United lead Everton by 1-0. If things stay the same there, Everton remain 2 points from safety. Newcastle would stay third, level on points with Manchester United on 62, having played a game more. Let's get the latest in the Championship. Massive game towards the bottom there as well at the New York Stadium. It's Rotherham against Cardiff. Alan Biggs.
And it's a good game as well, Hugh. Rotherham 1, Cardiff 1. We're in the 58th minute as Rotherham swing a free kick into the area, and it's gone away for a corner to the home team, away to the right hand side. Entertaining it's been. Both teams are just 1 win away from virtually clinching a place in the Championship next season. So this a key survival battle. They're 1 win away, and both teams are going for that win after that exciting first half. Kian Etete headed Cardiff in front. Chio Ogbeni headed Rotherham's equaliser. Then there was the penalty drama at the end of the half. Sori Kaba smacked his spot kick against the crossbar, and that's the 5th penalty out of 6 awarded that Cardiff have contrived to miss this season. Rotherham on top territorially at the moment, but it remains all square at Rotherham 1, Cardiff 1.
More live Championship action for you exclusively on TalkSport 2 tomorrow night. We'll bring you Blackpool against Millwall. Exclusively live on Saturday, Crystal Palace against West Ham is our live Premier League kickoff. And to get you started with game day exclusive, so Tottenham Hotspur with work to do to restore pride in the second half against Manchester United. Spurs 0, Manchester United 2, the second half with former Chelsea and West Ham defender Scott Minto and Sam Matterface.
We're underway at the start of the second half. Tottenham in white shirts and navy shorts attacking the goal away to our right in front of that huge raking south bank, which goes right up into the night sky. Manchester United defending that goal and shooting to our left in red shirts, white shorts and black socks. I'll go through the 2-11s for you in just a second, but Spurs immediately launched the ball down the left touchline, and it goes out for a throw-in, which Perisic went to take long and then went short into Højbjerg. Gets it back, plays it towards the left side, and then produces a cross towards the far stick, glanced away by Sancho, out for the first corner of the second half. This is 6 versus 4th, but it didn't feel like that in the first half, Scott Minto.
No, it didn't, and Spurs, you can already see, are trying to be positive at the start of the second half. They need an early goal to give themselves confidence and get the fans back on side.
Tottenham will be 7th if it stays like this tonight. Here is Pedro Porro in towards the near post, a little flick by Perisic, and then headed behind by Casemiro, took charge of a delicate situation. Manchester United probably just want to try and hold on here and just make sure they don't concede anything silly in the opening minutes of the first period of the second half. Tottenham hoping that they can make a strike. Pedro Porro into the centre, headed away by Casemiro and cleared up towards the halfway line, and then as Skip tries to send it back down the right channel. It's blocked by Anthony, and then 2 balls come on the pitch, and there's a little bit of a delay as we get restarted. Over on TalkSport 2, Everton are taking on Newcastle United. Newcastle United in front in that game. On the TalkSport app, it's still 1-0 to Bournemouth away from home down at Southampton. There's a big banner here behind the goal that says Levy out, hashtag ENIC out, behind the goal that Tottenham are attacking in the second half. Over on TalkSport 2, there has been a goal, and this is how it sounded with Mark Wilson.
It's Willock again, level with the edge of the area, buys himself a bit of space, drives into the area, pulls it back, and it's headed in. Joel Linton sending Newcastle to the top 4.
Yeah, very much so. That seems to be the case. 2-0 to Newcastle United as Tottenham come forward towards the edge of the area, steered away by Lindelof and cleared up towards the midpoint of the Manchester United half. Here is Clement Longley. Tottenham trying to play a little bit more football inside United territory and higher up here. Left-footed, the ball goes into the box. It's behind Richarlison. Pedro Porro sends it into Harry Kane, who looked in an offside position. He flicks the ball towards the far post. Glance away by Lindelof. It's a real scramble inside the area. Son wants it on the edge of the box. It's not coming his way. It's punched towards goal off the head of Longley. And it bounces on top of the crossbar and goes behind and away for a goal kick. That looks a little bit chaotic inside the Manchester United penalty area. It's a good start to the second half from Spurs.
It's a brilliant start. It's a really good start. And you just feel that United are just a little bit sloppy on the back foot. But Spurs, I'm sure Ryan Mason would have said, come on, these first 5, 10, 15 minutes of the second half, if we score first, then we get the fans back on side. And they came close, didn't they?
They'll be 9 points behind Manchester United should they lose this game. Tottenham Hotspur, they can't afford to lose this game if they want to end the season on a high. It feels very flat at this moment in time. We'll see how things materialise over the course of the next 40 minutes or so. And the next goal in this game is absolutely crucial.
Absolutely.
If Tottenham get it, then it's game on. If Manchester United get it, it's game over.
They can't afford not to win it, really.
Here is Son charging through the middle of the pitch. There's space on the left-hand side. He's got 2 players who were screaming for the ball. He delayed passing it, wanted the free kick. The free kick never came, and he's given Manchester United a huge let-off there. Luke Shaw did really well, but there was so much space on the far side for 2 white shirts, including Richarlison, and Son didn't play the ball in.
Yeah, I don't think he could quite get the ball out of his feet once, Luke Shaw especially, but I think it was also Bruno Fernandes was getting close to him. Did really well initially, but yeah, just know that someone's there, and as soon as you can, get the ball out wide. In the end, brilliant defending from Luke Shaw.
Anthony goes down softly, referee says play on. Højbjerg comes forward, unleashes one from distance and misses by a mile. Actually nearly took out the geezer who's got that big Levy out banner. It's gone out and away for a goal kick away to our right hand side. Manchester United leading by 2-0, and they'll just want to try and manage this game now, get over the line. They've got Villa at home on Sunday. I'll be there for the Sunday session as we go round the grounds on Sunday. We've got loads of matches on Sunday that kick off at 2 o'clock. We'll keep you updated on TalkSport, where we bring you all the football that matters. We've got game day returning on Saturday. Blackpool Millwall before that. Millwall going for the playoffs. Millwall could be in the Premier League next year, Scott.
Incredible, the job that Gary Rowett's done there, amazing.
Sheffield United already in the Premier League. Rotherham and Cardiff fighting to stay in the Championship. They're currently locked at 1 apiece up at the New York Stadium.
Come on, Rothers.
Oh yeah, you did the 10-year anniversary dinner the other day, didn't you?
I did, and I'm doing their Player of the Year on next Friday.
Oh, Rotherham's greatest left back, are you?
I don't think I'm in the top 3.
There's been another goal at Goodison Park. This is how it sounded on TalkSport 2.
Willock gets out of the way. Wilson has curled it in from the edge of the box. What an outstanding goal. He has beaten Pickford. All ends up right in the top corner. Wilson has his second. Newcastle have their third. And Everton are in deep trouble now. It's Everton 0, Newcastle 3.
Back here, Manchester United are on the attack, leading by 2-0. I'll go through the table at the bottom of the table in just a second for you because it's significant. The ball is wide on the left with Diogo Dalot. He takes it on and plays it infield to Christian Eriksen. Eriksen wide towards the left-hand side, and then Dalot gets it back to Eriksen. So the bottom of the table will look like this tonight. 24 points from 33 games, Southampton 20th. 28 from 33, Everton in 19th. Leicester 29 from 33 in 18th. And Leicester against Everton is live on TalkSport on Monday night. Game night. Looking forward to that. Can't wait. Should be an absolute cracker.
It's changing from game to game. You make your predictions, and you know, Leeds United don't pick up a win in the last 2 games and they're suddenly in trouble, but actually they're out of the bottom 3. Look at the bottom 3 at the moment: Southampton, Everton, Leicester. That is incredible.
Nottingham Forest 30 points from 33, Leeds 30 from 33, West Ham 34 from 32.
They need a win, maybe even just a point. You could do with that win, though.
Bournemouth win tonight, though, and I think they're done and dusted, aren't they? They're safe as houses.
Absolutely. Gary O'Neill, contender for manager of the season.
Oh, what a cracking job they have done. He has done there down at Bournemouth on limited resources. They spent a bit of money in January and they spent it very well, and that allowed them to get themselves into a very good position. They've done terrifically in the second half of the campaign, and they are going to stay up with Palace, Wolves and Chelsea, I think, just about, Scott.
Don't go there, Sam, don't go there.
Tottenham Hotspur just about staying up as well. Tongue firmly in cheek, don't tweet me. They're going to be in 7th position with 53 points from 33 games, and that's another problem for them because Newcastle and Manchester United have both played fewer games than them, and they have a 9-point advantage as it stands right now. Since that early flurry of Tottenham activity at the start of the second half, pretty much nothing has happened. Manchester United have killed the game. The ball's been pretty much in the middle of the park.
Absolutely, and David De Gea not wanting to mess around with it for obvious reasons. I'll be fascinated to see what happens with him in the summer.
Yeah, well, out of contract, they're trying to negotiate a deal at the moment to lessen the wages, I think. Here is Longley down the left side, wandering past Bruno Fernandes, laying it off towards the left side, across from deep from Perisic. Is a little bit too hefty, goes right the way through and out for a goal kick on this right hand side. Spurs' defeat at St James's Park was their heaviest in 10 years. Trying to ensure that wasn't compounded by another capitulation would have been job 1 tonight for Ryan Mason. What do you think he'll be thinking right now?
He'll be thinking, how on earth do I change this in such a short space of time? Look, we know he's a very good coach, but this is like a, I don't want to say the Titanic, but this is to try and turn this around in just an instant. It's very, very difficult to do.
It's drifted, hasn't it? The whole atmosphere has drifted. The squad has drifted. It feels tired and lethargic. And
even from last season, you know, he kind of scorched the players, scorched the press.
Given away by Wan-Bissaka, invited Richarlison towards the edge of the area. Wan-Bissaka does brilliantly, comes back, nabs the ball, turns it over and goes the other way. Tottenham have got Liverpool away next, then Palace at home, Aston Villa away from home, Brentford at home and Leeds away. The fixtures aren't exactly great.
I don't even think they'll finish top 7. I'm looking at the table now. Villa, the form they're in. Liverpool's starting to pick up wins. I don't think they'll finish top 4 though. And you've got Brighton with games in hand.
And there's been a goal somewhere. Where is it? Here is Højbjerg. I think Everton have... has Everton got back in the game? We'll find out. But there has been a goal at Goodison Park, and this is how it sounded on TalkSport 2.
Everton with a corner, firing in near post, and it's turned in. Everton do have a goal back. Well, Newcastle are holding a bit of a inquest in the area. I think it's McNeil who's got the last touch. There's a ripple of applause around. Nick Pope's gutted, his clean sheet has gone.
Yeah.
It's Everton 1, Newcastle 3.
Inside the area, right-footed shot, and into the back of the net. Pedro Porro scores his first goal for Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham celebrate. David De Gea is complaining.
Trying to say, and he definitely would have been in his eye line, but it was such a great strike from Porro. This is game on now.
2-1 to Manchester United, and here comes Rashford moving towards the edge of the penalty area, jinking one way then the other, then going outside and twirling, sending it back to Eriksen, edge of the box, right footed into the area. Fernandes goes past 2 players, far too easily, hits the top of the crossbar, saved down low by Fraser Forster. How on earth has that not gone in? The Tottenham goal living a charmed life. Bruno Fernandes waltzed past the Tottenham defence like they were a bunch of ghosts.
Oh, what a great bit of skill there from Bruno Fernandes. He does the hard bit. He's just got to dink it over Forster. He tries to dink it, it's too much, it hits the crossbar. The last thing Spurs wanted to do was make sure that they concede straight after scoring. What a game we got now.
Wan-Bissaka's header was then saved by Forster straight after it came off the top of the crossbar. Unbelievable. What a chance for Manchester United. Ball into the far post, punched away by Forster. Comes back to Anthony. Anthony with a left-footed shot towards the far corner, parried and patted away by Fraser Forster. 57 on the clock. Maybe there's life in Tottenham yet. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 2. You're listening to Talk Sport. Maybe that goal has just woken up Manchester United. We're here with Now Sports, and don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports 18+, stream via internet, terms apply. And that might just turn the time, mightn't it? I mean, it was a fortunate goal in some ways, but Tottenham won't care. Sancho down the left side, bursting into the box. He gets to the edge of the penalty area, sends it back to Fernandes. Fernandes approaches the box, plays it square, and then it's a little bit lackadaisical from Casemiro, who actually didn't have the best of first halves either. Lindelof down the right side, Wan-Bissaka, Eriksen waiting in the centre. His cross though is too close to the goalkeeper, and it's cleared away. Another goal at Goodison Park. Here's how it sounded on TalkSport 2 with Mark Wilson.
Got away from 2, beats another one, he's still going, Isak, still going, what a run this is, and it's a chance and it's in! What a goal! What an assist! It's Murphy who's got his 3rd goal in 2 games, but Alexander Isak there was like a tightrope dancer along the byline. What an assist, what a finish, it's 4-1.
Alexander Isak with the assist, Murphy with the goal. It's 4-1 to Newcastle United, who have now scored 10 goals in 2 games. And their rivals for a top 4 place, Manchester United and Tottenham, are slugging it out here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Not a great performance in the first half by Tottenham, slightly better in the second. They've got themselves back in this game. Have Southampton got themselves back in the game down at St Mary's? Alex Crook.
They may just have saved a point. Southampton 1, Bournemouth 1. Shea Adams off the bench in this second half, back from injury. He's just rifled right-footed into the roof of the net from 6 yards out. There is a VAR check, but as it stands, it's Southampton 1, Bournemouth 1.
We'll let you know whether that VAR check passed off without a hitch or not. 2-1 to Manchester United here. Spurs coming forward. Perisic into the box, blocked by Wan-Bissaka. Goes behind and away for a Tottenham Hotspur corner. Hour mile. The momentum has just slightly shifted.
Absolutely. Goals change games, and the Spurs fans have just wanted something from their team that they didn't get in the first half. They've certainly got in the second, and now very much on the front foot.
Corner kick in front of that raking South Bank away to our right side. They're trying to suck the ball in. Forearm in the air from Porro in towards the near post. Romero jumps, doesn't reach it. Comes back to Højbjerg, right footed shot wide of the goal.
It's a chance, or half a chance anyway. He's got to do better. He could even have taken a touch.
Let's go back down to Alex Crook, because that VAR check has been completed. What happened?
Oh, this is the narrowest of calls. The goal has been chalked off. Shea Adams, according to the VAR officials, narrowly the wrong side of the Bournemouth back line. The joy is short-lived. It hasn't come up on the scoreboard yet, but the goal has been ruled out. It remains Southampton 0, Bournemouth 1.
Manchester United replacing number 25.
So still problems for Southampton down the south coast. Anthony Martial has come on for Jadon Sancho. So Rashford's going to go down the left-hand side. Eriksen coming off to be replaced by Fred, and he gets a standing ovation from all 4 sides of this ground after yet another very good performance. But an hour is about right for Christian Eriksen right now. There's been a substitution for Tottenham as well. Kulusevski is on in place of Richarlison. So both teams just switching up their attacking battalion, Scott Minto.
Yeah, absolutely. United on the back foot. I think Fred will give them a little more solidity without the ball.
And maybe they'll feel as if Rashford can give them a little bit more threat down that left-hand side where Tottenham have left gaps. Here is Højbjerg running forward down the left side. Perisic picks it up, moves towards the edge of the area, cuts in on his right foot, lays it off for Kane, tries to get a shot away, can't do so. Fred controls and then plays it to Fernandes, who wasn't expecting it, and Kane reacted quickest. Tottenham just a little bit sharper than Manchester United since that goal went in. Pedro Porro, who scored it, goes towards the near touchline, picks it up and charges towards the edge of the box. It comes off a red shirt now for a throw-in. quickly tossed into Romero, reversed into Kulusevski, who gets away from Fred, into the area, takes on Casemiro, produces a cross deep to the far post. Perisic coming in underneath it, but so was Wan-Bissaka, who was watching it all the way, and he glances it behind and away for a corner. We've got a proper game now.
Absolutely. Kulusevski coming onto his left foot, wonderful, just chip ball to the far post. I can't think of a better defender than Wan-Bissaka. I really can't. The way he reads the situation, he's getting a lot of stick for what he does on the ball. I don't think he's as bad as some people say, but defensively he is absolutely superb.
He's certainly in one-on-one situations he's terrific, isn't he? And he's certainly improved under Erik ten Hag, who is watching from the technical areas. The ball goes in towards the near post. It comes out to the edge of the box, volleyed goalwards by Højbjerg, straight down the throat of David De Gea. Erik ten Hag actually had a very bad experience against Tottenham Hotspur. He won here with Ajax, and then that Lucas Moura goal that you heard in the build-up to the game, that dramatic winner that steered them through into the final of the Champions League in 2019. Erik ten Hag was in the opposition dugout that night, so as many Spurs fans like to remind everybody that was one of the greatest moments that they've had in the Champions League. It's probably the worst that Erik ten Hag has had.
He'll be thinking there still could be 2 late goals from Spurs then.
Yeah, he'll know all about them scoring very late in the game and coming back from an almost impossible position. It's 2-1 to Manchester United at present. At the moment, Manchester United going 9 points clear of Spurs and 8 points clear of Aston Villa, who they've played 2 games fewer than. And Villa's position looks great at the moment, but actually it's false at this moment in time because of the fixture list is slightly skewed. Martial onto Fernandes, right side now is Anthony, moving up to the edge of the area. It's another great ball into the box, which is cleared away by Skip. There was no one attacking it at the far post.
I just felt though he's going into the box, cut onto his left foot and have a shot. We've seen him do it before. He's got wand of a left foot. Just aim for that far post.
That's his trademark effort, isn't it? Cutting it on that left foot and trying to bend it into the far corner. That's the Anthony goal. Ball on halfway with Manchester United, who lead by 2-1. Tottenham have been brighter since they scored, but have still got to get another one to get anything from this game. What is Anthony Martial doing? Well, he's giving Luke Shaw a problem. Luke Shaw actually made a really good challenge on Kane and has got the ball back for Manchester United, but Anthony Martial got his team into a serious problem by messing around on halfway when he really had so many options in front of him. He didn't need to take a chance like that.
He certainly did, and he was twisting and turning.
What is Romero doing? He's out of position. He's in the Manchester United penalty area at the other end of the field as Manchester United come on the attack at the other end.
He's not playing up front, is he?
Fernandes into the centre circle. Lindelof. Manchester United not taking any advantage of the fact that he is now basically playing as the centre forward because he's so far out of position. Here is Dalot down the left into Rashford. They can manage the game though because they have a goal advantage. Here on the left-hand side, Rashford. Goal difference is really important at this stage of the season, isn't it? Top and bottom of the table. Whether you're trying to get into the top 4 or whether you're trying to stay in the league. Here is Kane moving down the left-hand side. He beats Luke Shaw this time. He's got space for Højbjerg in the centre. It misses him, comes through to Son. Son tries to tease it into the far corner, but he gets his execution wrong and steers it wide of the post. What an opportunity for Tottenham to equalise. Ryan Mason claps his team's effort. They've certainly been more progressive in this second half, but they've missed another big chance.
2 things to say there, one positive, one not. Harry Kane, just incredible. He never looks like he's the quickest player, and yet he's able to get past Luke Shaw. He's whipped in a wonderful ball to the far post, and that is a player who, let's be fair, by his standards is having a shocking season. Son, he's a really good team player, a really good guy, but a confident Son there takes a touch and then just passes it into the far post. He had the time to do it, but taking it first time, it was bouncing and it was a poor finish.
Fred dispossesses Skip and then chases Son, who's picked up the loose ball inside United territory. Wide on the left, Tottenham have it again. 66 on the clock. This is TalkSport. We're live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's a belting game now between these two. And Tottenham Hotspur know that maybe a victory here today will reignite European ambitions. Kane down the right, into Kulusevski, into the box, steering the ball towards the far stick, but he was never going to beat David De Gea that way. They're claiming a corner kick here, but it's irrelevant really. He should have pulled it back into the penalty area. There should have been someone there to tap in an opportunity. It was the wrong option.
Now, first of all though, the positive is that they're finding spaces now that they didn't find in the first half. But then you're right, Kulusevski's not going to score on his right foot from there. No one was coming in, so again he's got to cut back into his left foot and either try and manoeuvre and get a shot himself, or cut the ball back, as you say, for someone to come onto it. But this is a lot better from Spurs, and this is something that we saw in the early part of the season, didn't we? Spurs poor in the first half, very good in the second.
A ball sent over towards the far side. It's given to Wan-Bissaka. There's been a disallowed goal in the game at Goodison Park. Newcastle thought they'd gone 5-1 up. Fabian Schär with a superb strike into the bottom corner, but then it was disallowed by VAR because Dan Burn was offside in the build-up to it. It's finished at St Mary's. TalkSport's Alex Crook.
And it's finished Southampton 0, Bournemouth 1. Marcus Tavernier, 5 minutes into the second half, a superb solo run and low finish into the bottom corner. The only goal of the game. We are staying up, sing the Travelling Cherries fans. They just might be. Southampton, who had a late Shea Adams goal ruled out for offside, they are now 6 points adrift of safety with just 5 games to play. They are going down. Southampton 0, Bournemouth 1.
Yeah, that's not official, by the way. It's just so we know.
It is in his mind.
In his mind, yeah, I know. He's written them off, hasn't he? South Coast correspondent, who obviously doesn't want to go back to St Mary's. It's too big for him now, and he's too big for St Mary's now.
Gary O'Neill's best mate.
Here on the left-hand side, Tottenham coming forward. Good ball to the edge of the area. Son trying to jink past one challenge, plays it out wide towards the left. A decent ball in towards Dyer, and he's missed the header from 4 yards out. What a chance for Eric Dyer. He wandered into the box. It was a delicious cross from the left-hand side from Perisic, and Dyer was in front of that gaping South stand, who are all screaming and expecting the net to bulge. David De Gea was rooted to the spot, and Dyer headed it wide.
Oh, and he's run off the back of Fred. It was a wonderful ball from Perisic. That's where you want him as a wing-back going forward, left foot or right foot. And the goal is just gaping. He's 6 yards out, maybe even 5. It's a simple header for him, and he knows it. Ryan Mason on the floor. He can't believe what's happening. This is so much better, though, from Spurs.
Martial to Fernandes, back to Rashford inside the area on his right foot. Oh, it's sent towards goal by the defender, and it almost went past Fraser Forster. I thought for a second there the challenge on Rashford, which was quite rash from Skip, was going to divert the ball into the goal away to our left-hand side. It's out for a corner.
I think it was one of those where he feels if he doesn't make that tackle, and you don't want to in the penalty area on Marcus Rashford, but Rashford's going to be completely free. They had to time that perfectly. And you're right, the angle we were at, we weren't quite sure whether it was going to hit the back of the net or go out for a corner.
It went out for a corner. Rashford was hurt initially, but it's gone out away to our left-hand side for another corner to Manchester United. And Fernandes is going to place this down in the quadrant. And remember, Manchester United don't win very often away at members of the top 7. Here is Fernandes from the corner towards the far post. It was punched away by Fraser Forster. It's a good save that actually in the end, because that was aiming towards the far corner of the goal.
Absolutely. One thing Spurs don't want to do now while they're on top and really in this game is concede. We know how good United can be going forward. Fraser Forster, Forster, to be fair, has done well, hasn't he? He's had some attempts at him, made some really good saves.
Full-time, Everton 1, Newcastle 4. That game's finished on TalkSport 2. Val Weghorst and Tyrell Malacia coming on for Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka is coming off, so that will mean a little shift around that. Wan-Bissaka will be replaced by Dalot, who goes to right back. Malacia will go to left back, and then Weghorst is coming on to replace Anthony, I think. Anthony's taking all the time in the world over that. Weghorst, who had a major role to play in the Cup semi-final at the weekend. He is the ultimate cheerleader. He's sucking up every single minute of his experience as a Manchester United player. Only scored 2 goals, and he's been an influence on the team. He might not be the best striker in the world, but he's one of the best teammates that they'll have. Ball sent towards the far post, headed into the air by Casemiro. Keeps it alive inside the Tottenham penalty area. Weghorst putting himself around. Casemiro keeps it moving. Rashford's got it left edge of the box now. Stops the ball, comes inside, plays it to Weghorst. Looks for a wall pass, doesn't come back to him, and then Fernandes tidies up and sees it all the way back to his goalkeeper. 2-1 to Manchester United, 72 gone.
It's a great second half, isn't it? Where United were completely on top in the first. Spurs back in it.
Here is Dalot, the furthest forward, and he sort of lost his coordinates, and so did Romero. The ball fortuitously bounces for Tottenham, and then Skip gives it straight back to Rashford. And now Manchester United are just turning the screw again, coming away down out towards the left-hand side. Bournemouth have beaten Southampton away from home, and Newcastle have beaten Everton away from home. At the moment, Manchester United are beating Tottenham away from home. 3 away wins possible in the Premier League tonight. All the games available on the TalkSport app, but we're concentrating here in North London on the final 18 minutes of this game between two European contenders. Malacia, second half substitute, snapped by Romero. The ball's going to break though for Luke Shaw. Malacia, and then played out wide to Rashford. Rashford taking on Skip, beating Skip. Kulusevski comes and bumps him off the ball. He goes down, wants a free kick, he's not going to get it. Højbjerg takes up the play in the middle of the park. Weghorst chases back. He's still chasing, and the ball's worked wide towards the right. Kulusevski just about keeps it in, and Weghorst is back there in the left full-back position, stretching out his incredibly long left leg to poke it out of play and away for a throw-in.
This is brilliant to watch. It really is end-to-end, which suits Spurs. You know, United had control of the tempo of the game in the first half. They haven't now. They're kind of hanging on in here.
It's a foul by Victor Lindelof, who's got to be careful because he's already been booked. And it's a free kick 15 yards from the edge of the penalty area to Tottenham Hotspur, and Anthony Taylor is being barracked by the Tottenham players, suggesting that there should be a further booking here, and Ryan Mason is of that opinion too. It's currently Tottenham 1, Manchester United 2, and for the latest odds you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Spurs to win at 12-1. Manchester United to go on and win the game is at 3-1 on. The draw is 3-1. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org. What happens from this free kick, Scott Minto?
Well, he's 35 yards out. I'd be down to be sticking this into the top corner, probably just dinking it towards the far post.
Yeah. Porro is standing over it, so is Højbjerg. Porro's already on the score sheet once tonight, hasn't scored for a while. It's Højbjerg who clips it down the left side into Harry Kane. Across the face of goal it goes. Malacia gets there, only half cleared by Spurs. Casemiro gets it out of the area. Picked up right side by Kulusevski. Delivers it into the box. Takes a deflection. Headed by Perisic, but out of the area rather than into it. And Fred will collect it right side into the full-back position. And Fernandes then will add a little bit of composure to the situation before playing out into Fred and then Casemiro. Casemiro charges down the right side. There's been a goal at the New York Stadium in Rotherham. It could be a big one for Alan Biggs.
It's a big one for Cardiff. Rotherham 1, Cardiff 2. Pinball in the Rotherham goalmouth. First, a great save by Victor Johansson to save from Keon Ete, but Cedric Kipra then hooked in at the far post in front of 800 travelling Cardiff fans. Big reward for them for this journey. Rotherham 1, Cardiff 2.
75 minutes on the clock. Kane's just flashed a shot from the edge of the area straight down the throat of De Gea. That's a big goal for Cardiff as they look to try and stay in the Championship. Here the next goal is crucial as to what happens in the European places and whether Manchester United are going to have a fight on their hands to stay in the top 4. They want to make sure that they won't seal it tonight by winning this game, but they certainly will give themselves a cracking opportunity, because then if they could keep Aston Villa at arm's length on Sunday, then they will effectively seal a place in the top 4.
Well, they'll be 8 points ahead of Villa with 2 games in hand. So if they just get that draw, then I think that pretty much is done. I think tonight could be a big night in terms of the top 4. I really do. With Newcastle winning and winning pretty easily. If United see this out as well, I think that's almost done and dusted.
Manchester United have Villa and then Brighton in the next 2 games. They'll 2 crucial matches as Porro whips the ball towards the edge of the D, come out by Casemiro, picked up by Weghorst, does brilliantly to turn away from Skip, and well, because he used his arm as he did that turn, a foul has been given against the tall, lanky Netherlands international, who's now sharing a few expletives with Christian Romero.
Well, look, he turns on the ball and he does catch Skip. His arm is out. Again, it's a position that you don't want to be doing it. The free kick just a couple of minutes ago was really well worked. I thought Harry Kane whipped the ball in, or from the left across goal, and if Perisic had been Harry Kane, then I think it could have been 2-2.
Ben Davies and Arno Danjuma coming on for Tottenham Hotspur. Ben Davies coming off. It'll be interesting to see what that does for the formation. Is Kulusevski going to play right wing back? I think he is. Davis going on for, is that Perisic, who's not happy about being taken off over on the far side.
That's interesting. I think Perisic has done well getting forward, and especially in the second half.
And Davis gone up for this set piece, which will be taken by Højbjerg. This is 36 yards from goal, right side, into Kulusevski, who immediately runs at Fred, delivers across towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Tyrell Malacia. Poor clearance by Højbjerg. Fred chasing it down. It will go all the way back to Fraser Forster, away to our left-hand side, and Tottenham's opportunity to try and cultivate something didn't work out. Manchester United's only away Premier League win against the current top half this season was 2-1 at Fulham on November the 13th. They've lost